What's up, you guys? It's Chris here. So a question I get asked most often is how to make a significant income online that is not a waste of time. And to be honest, that's kind of a loaded question because anything that you do online that is worth doing and worth dedicating yourself to will take time and effort to build and to cultivate. But there is a difference in you using your time wisely to build something slowly and steadily versus devoting tons of hours into something that at the end of the day, you will have absolutely nothing to show for it. And essentially, that is what online surveys does exactly. It is a waste of time and a waste of effort. Now, I have been down the same road that you have. I have done the inbox dollars, the swag bucks, the survey junkies, the prize rebels, the user testings, the blah, 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 blah. The list just goes on. And with each one of these services, after it was all said and done, and I spent like 4 to 6 hours trying to complete these surveys, I had $7 to show for my efforts. Wait, what? Yeah, it's just as mind-boggling as forgetting to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you haven't already. So to help you avoid wasting your precious time, today I want to share with you 4 insanely easy questions that you need to ask yourself before you jump into any surefire business opportunity to make money online. So with that said, let's get into the video. So the first question that you need to ask yourself before jumping into an online opportunity is, number 1, am I learning a skill or am I just completing a task? One of my biggest pet peeves with many online opportunities is that they are not teaching you a skill that you can use to earn income for you and your family. In a lot of situations, they are using you to grow and scale their own businesses. An example of this would be Mob. Some of you might remember Mob, but some of you might not because the government shut them down for taking advantage of people. They use an MLM or multi-level marketing structure to build their entire company that at one point generated millions and millions of dollars in a very short period of time. But my biggest issue with the company is at the time, they did not really teach anyone how to do anything. They had a 21-step system that basically walked them through posting ads and promoting, you guessed it, Mob's system to other people. Whether you pitched it to your friends on Facebook or whether you were coached into actually purchasing ads, it was no surprise when the U.S. Federal Trade Commission finally shut them down. So to protect yourself from falling prey to one of these dishonest systems, look for a system that teaches you a scalable skill. I'm sure you've heard the old phrase, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. Look to be fed for life. Most online surveys are designed to pay you as little as possible to keep their profit margins as high as they possibly can. So look past the money that they may be promising you and see if you are building up someone else's business like a job would, or if you're building up something that you can take and run with on your own. If you're not learning something now that will translate into earning a living for yourself later, then you are just wasting your time. The next question that you should ask yourself is, if this company disappeared tomorrow, would I still be earning money? Now, early in my blogging career, I saw this a lot. It is very enticing to hitch your wagon to a company that's promising you untold riches and will solve all your financial woes if you just join the program. But similar to question number 1, are you learning something that works outside of the program? If you're spending hours and hours completing surveys and you're making a few bucks with it, if the next time you went to the site and you got one of these errors, would you then be stuck looking for another survey site? Or can you take what you have learned and go create your own money? Ask yourself, is what you're learning in this program evergreen? Meaning, can you replicate the process and make consistent income for yourself in the future at any time, at will, whenever you feel like it? If the answer to these questions is no, then you are wasting your time. In fact, you may need to watch out and make sure you're not part of any type of weird pyramid scheme, because some business models out there are just there to give you step-by-step instructions on how to promote their program and nothing else. Steer clear of these business opportunities and online surveys because they are just making you a cog in their machine. Don't add to their empire, learn to create your own. Unlike surveys, good business opportunities is like a good teacher. Their main goal is to make their involvement less and less necessary so that you eventually can step out on your own and sustain your own lifestyle. The number 3 question that you need to ask yourself before jumping into any business opportunity is what the time frame is to earn $1,000 or so a month. Now, this is probably one of the hardest questions to answer because if you are looking for an opportunity to make that kind of money consistently, you likely don't have the experience to know if what you're doing is legitimate or not. After all, you don't know what you don't know, right? But one thing that I recommend is to at least use a little common sense and see if the process actually makes sense to you and see if it actually works. Will it last? In fact, as a baseline, always remember that just like a store and a mall, you need people. And once you get people, more specifically, people interested in what it is that you have to offer, they are going to start to buy stuff from your store. So does the business opportunity teach you to turn leads into buyers? That is where money is going to be made. And to get that elusive $1,000 or so a month, you need to find a process that solves a problem or satisfies a need. Once you have that process down, you just need to replicate it over and over and over again. It is kind of like reading a book. Most can agree that if you read a book, it's going to make you smarter. So what's to stop you from reading 10 books or 100 books or 1,000 books? Once you find a process that works, double down on it and turn it into a significant income. Once you make that mental shift, you will start to see that the potential is much more than $1,000. In fact, it can be multiple $1,000. Shoot for 10,000, shoot for 20,000. Make sure the process makes sense to you. So study up on as many reviews as you possibly can. Look at those that have done it. Where are they now? Can you personally speak with any of them? Do your due diligence and make sure that you are not wasting your time. A question that I get asked very often is how I got started. And I always tell everyone the exact same thing. I got started with blogging, and then one thing kind of leads to another, and then here I am on YouTube. But regardless of the route that you take, you have to get started. And if you want to start the exact same way that I did, you can do so by checking out my free training I have over at benjisdad.com. That is benjisdad.com. There I have a free video series that shows you the exact process that I use that afforded me the ability to create my own income and to quit my day job. And as I said, it's 100% free, so be sure to go check it out, benjisdad.com. I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. So the next question that you should ask yourself before jumping into any business opportunity is how much money can you potentially earn? Now, I touched on this a bit earlier, but unlike paid online surveys where your earning potential is quite small, see if the business opportunity that you are going to be jumping into can make you a significant income. And now the term significant income, it's a bit arbitrary. It's not very specific because a lot of money to me may not be a lot of money to you. So get a baseline for what you really want to earn and don't be afraid to shoot for the stars. Don't be shy. If you are looking at your expenses and you see that you are surviving on $3,000 a month, then shoot for that to be your goal. A common problem among new entrepreneurs is that they do not set any kind of goals for themselves. They just kind of get started aimlessly, and more likely than not, they will kind of end up failing, unfortunately. With most survey sites, you are just grasping to get as much money as you possibly can, and that's really the wrong way to look at it. Because of that mentality, you end up getting paid pennies for something that takes hours and hours for you to do, leaving you with little to show for it. So step back, look at the potential of what it is that you are trying to earn. Does it fit the goals that you are trying to achieve? If not, ditch it, get rid of it. Find something that will satisfy your goals. Your time is your most valuable asset and is not worth your time to waste it on something that is not going to help you achieve your goals. So there is a certain stubbornness that you need to have in order to get what it is that you're looking for. But just remember that it's out there. You just have to find it. And more times than not, the answer to your question about whether or not surveys is worth it, if they're worth doing at all, in my opinion, they're not. So don't spend major time on minor things. So with anything in life, there is no guarantee that if you ask yourself these 4 questions, you will always avoid making ugly mistakes. For some of you, experience is the only teacher, and you will have to learn the hard way to stay out of situations that will just use you for your time and leave you with nothing when it's all said and done. But like my mother always told me, experience is the best teacher, but for those stupid enough not to listen in the first place. So do your own research, make a well-informed decision based on unbiased experiences of others, and don't believe everything you read or hear on the internet. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already and you've made it this far into the video, please be sure to smash that like button as well as subscribe. I post new videos every Mondays and Thursdays, and follow me on Instagram at Benji'sDadOfficial. I post there pretty much daily and would love to connect with you there as well. Be sure to stay tuned for the bloopers, and I will catch you all later. They use an LLMs type structure or multi-level, blah, blah, blah. If you're spending hours and hours completing surveys and you're blah, blah, a question that I do get asked, a question that I ask most often, a question, blah. You know how annoyed I would be right now if I wasn't recording?